I hear everything one way, even though they say I don't pay attention. I do everything the same as the way I did it last time. Still you see my life is pitiful, that I'm selfish and predictable. Though I have no voice to disagree, I don't wanna change. Never get wrong with regret, letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. Problem that you.
Good morning, everybody, and let me get that thing off of here. We're not starting soon. We're starting right now. I was getting my coffee. There we are.
There we are.
Today. We're on the screen.
On the screen. I was
On
doing
the
my drum
screen.
solo too. I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
All right, guys, we got a episode lined up for you. I've been getting the voicemails this morning, and we're going to talk about something I think that's really important getting into this, because this is going to be tomorrow's show. If you're watching this, we know it's during the work week. Many of you probably just started a new work week, and for those of you that's got jobs you don't care for, I'm sorry. For those of you that enjoy your jobs, I'm glad you got to start off the new week and you're there. But for both of you, I'd say watch it. Just turn off the volume, close captioning if you got to.
Yeah.
Make sure you're supporting the show. We're at closing at this moment. We're having to close the Christmas Adopt a Dad thing. We had so many dads that reached out to Wayne. We're never going to be able to get to all of them. I am not closing the funds being raised. Cash App, Venmo, Dad Talk Today, no spaces. Let me tell you why. There's one of these guys, when you hear his story, it's like, oh my God. But he's got 8 kids. 8 kids. I think we had raised, close to $2,000 at one point in time. And I'm like, oh my God, they might have to share a toy. But the more we get, the more we can do for these guys. But you know what? There are several of these families that are going to be getting Christmas that wouldn't have if it wasn't for this community. So I want you to give
thank
a
you
pat
guys.
on your back
And girls.
and thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
That is really awesome that we're doing that. Again, like I said, like, share, subscribe, get those voicemails in 762-441-0281. We're going to be talking about how much did it cost you just to be a father? Because Dwayne, I've heard it all over the board. Some of these guys, 3,000, some of them 5,000, some of them 10,000, some of them 50 grand, some of them 100 grand, some of them 500 grand. I've heard up to the millions of dollars
Millions.
just to be a dad.
Yeah.
And something about that just doesn't sound right to me.
No, it doesn't. I mean, to pay that kind of money just to get your natural parental rights for good, fit, willing, and able dads. I keep saying ridiculous. It's redonkulous. I mean, that we have to go through this kind of stuff just to be in our kids' lives. Everyone, the narrative, the deadbeat dad, oh, well, you should have fought harder. $700,000. How much harder do I got to fight? I mean, what else do I got to do in order to be my kid's life?
How much more can you fight? I mean, seriously, man.
Yeah, and we're talking years and the emotional toll, and the society is looking down on you no matter what you do. I mean, forget what the ex is doing to you. I mean, well, which is horrible enough, but then the attorneys, the judge, I mean, all these people in authority, public opinion, you're labeled as, no matter what you're doing, you're a deadbeat.
Exactly. And that was why tomorrow's show is going to be very important. I might should save it for the weekend, because a lot of these guys will probably be at work, but we'll just replay it if we got to, and we're going to have to reiterate it. So you'll probably hear that show many times. You know, we've kind of taken a turn here lately and said, you know what, these legislators, these attorneys, these judges, I don't feel like they got a heart. They're not listening. And we got to start doing something that's going to make a difference. And one of the biggest things that I think we are fighting is a culture war, the way that people look at dads. And most of the time when people hear this, especially dads, they're hearing themselves being called deadbeats or these false allegations and stuff. The first thing they want to do is say some words that we're probably not supposed to say on the show. You stupid, blah, 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 blah. And I understand why they get angry like that. But that's, again, the narrative, angry deadbeat dad. So they use that against you. One thing that I think has been so simple and in front of our face all along, that if we get our community doing it, we can win this war, is challenging that narrative. And we want to give you guys some of the questions and ways to do that. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Earlier this morning, I was going to ask about, you know, the myth of the deadbeat dad, because we know he gets brought up all the time. So the first thing I said, if a father trying to be in a child's life is a deadbeat, although the mother says no or tells him he has to go through an attorney or family court, my question is, what does that make her? Okay. We already addressed what's going on with the dad. Okay. And most of the time it's focusing solely on the mother. I know that people are still going to bring up the deadbeat.
Yeah.
So let me find this one. Lady said, if he's a deadbeat, then the mother is a protector. An absent father does emotional damage to our babies, more emotional damage than an inconsistent one. All right. I want to tell you about this. That was one of those that we hear all the time, because that just puts it back off on the guy. Yeah. If he's inconsistent, he's worse than an absent father. I said, yeah, I've heard that one. Many of them block access to the child and then claim he's inconsistent. I'm not big on that one. I've heard this one used too many times without the other side of the story being presented. If she is blocking the access and then calling him inconsistent, we're still feeding that narrative. We got to start changing up the way that we get those questions, Dwayne. Because that's just what happens. It's like no matter what you talk about with good fathers, they're always going to try to make a way to talk about the bad ones. So let's talk about it. We're talking about good ones here that are fit, willing, and able. All right. Ask them, what rights does he have if he is a good dad? If she is a bad mom, maybe she's on drugs, maybe she cheated, she could do all these horrible things. She has rights still, most of the time.
That's public opinion.
Involved in the very beginning. But most of the time, yeah, she's got the rights. If he's a good dad, he's taking care of the kids. He was a good husband. He was there. He was feeding them. He was making sure they go to school. What rights does he have before he goes through that court? Think about it, guys, because when he goes to that court is set up to profit off of that man.
Yeah.
So even as a good dad, he's going in there with a challenge, and there's going to be a bias that's going to come against him. A lot of times, even if you got all the evidence in the world, it doesn't do any good. But we're getting too much into tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
I'm just setting it up. I want to go through 10 things that you guys can start doing, getting in these comments to challenge the narrative. Okay.
No, it's great. I mean, because how many times have we been, on the Farce book or the InstaSnap or the TalkTick and all that stuff, and and we're talking about our situation. Someone shuts you down, and we just shut up and go away. Or, as you point out, we feed that narrative in the worst way possible. We lose our cojones. We just go nuts, and the narrative is out there. I mean, there's an article that came out today from Kim Kardashian, and it says she's insisting Kanye West, whatever you think of him, whatever, pays child support to show he is serious about co-parenting. What the hell? But I digress.
Yeah, man.
We need. I mean, Eric, great point. We need, as a community, men and women, we need to have tactics, data, information, and a way to respond to these people that are saying that. Because, as I think you were pointing out earlier, that you'll say, hey, a willing, fit, able father, and then they respond back, well, the deadbeat. But we're not talking about deadbeat.
We're not talking about him.
Yeah. And
so we got to change. We got to change up every time they think they got the answer, we change the questions, because you're not giving us the answer to what we asked. And that just seems, it's all deflection, right? It's all deflection. So we're going to get into this. We're going to read your comments, guys. Like I said, if you're watching, because I see people watching, like, share, subscribe, because you help us get this out there. And we're going to have challenges during the week, stars, all that stuff. There's different ways that you can support. We are counting up yesterday. Somebody is going to win this amazing Dad Talk Today t-shirt, which brings all the ladies to the yard. It has an amazing fabric. It does so many things, raises your testosterone. Got a prescription with the red pill. The whole dude, none of those statements have been evaluated. But what we'll do is Facebook's actually been doing something for me lately that shows me our top fans who interacted the most that week.
Top fan.
Okay, so you'll be a top fan, and that's going to be like, sharing, subscribing, and putting stuff down there in the comments. So I'm
share with your friends.
Yeah,
pound.
Show your friends.
Yeah, whatever that pound asterisk. What I don't know what you young guys do, but put the names in. Is that what?
Yeah, the @. Put the @ symbol in their name. That's how you get them in here. Sierra Tesor. Man, I'm guessing the T's silent. He said, I'm about 250,000 and he's 13. That's what happens when baby's mom is friends with her attorney. Could be more than friends.
With benefits? Oh,
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Dude, I mean, it's not taking shots, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, there's lots of stories that come out of that. You know, these vulnerable women get in there talking to a rich old attorney, some old codger, and stuff happens. You know, they work out the billing cycle a certain way, but you know what? Who am I to judge?
Dude, Freshness AH, new user. I haven't seen you on here before, brother. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. We're glad you're here. He said, how do you get on the show? You call the voicemail. It is scrolling down there at the bottom. We've got some, and we're going to be listening to them today. 762-441-0281. And we'll be glad to get you on here. I'll read your comment really quick. He said, ex-wife kicked my son out, and I have him now for 2 months, but still wants to control where he can live. Got to have that control.
Got to have the control.
That's a Puddle of Mud song, isn't it?
Yeah. Puddle of Mud's got some good stuff. I hate, or well, I probably shouldn't be talking about I hate you and all that. But they've had a couple ditties that kind of trigger.
Well, a lot of people don't know it. That song "Blurry," everything's so blurry. That's a parental alienation song. And whether you guys know it or not, I had Wes on the show 3 different times, but his microphone didn't work. That was one of the biggest bummers, man. He'd get on here, hey, and be trying to talk to us. And we can't hear you. We can't hear you. But he wrote that song when going through a family court battle and being away from his son. If you listen to those lyrics, it hits a little bit different now. You listen and see some of these things from your childhood, Dwayne, and you never really knew what you were listening to until now. And you listen to the lyrics and like, whoa, I tell you one that really hits different now that a lot of people can probably relate to. How about Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire, the Santa Claus. I mean, yeah, every movie hits different. You look at it through another set of eyes. Because before, when you're happily married or you weren't in that environment at all, you're like, oh, this is a cute little story. I watch Santa Claus and I'm, going off on the mom nonstop. But
well, it's kind of crazy, especially like with what it was back then. I've heard the strategy many times from the guys. Like, what if I went and identified as a woman or dressed as a woman? Would they treat me different in court? I'm not promoting that.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting that, but I would like to know what happens if you do it.
It would be
That's what I'm saying. We are not attorneys. We are not lawyers. None of this is none of this is that. Yes, he's D&D, Levi's.
No fashion sense.
Yeah. I was the guy that wore Bugle Boy and Duckhead when I was growing up. We're just men on here, and we're gonna have fun with this.
It's funny when you mentioned though about movies and things like that. I have been red pilled, but I having gone through it, everything I watch now, I point at the screen. I watched Ant-Man, and there was a scene and where the main character, I won't get too nerdy and name names and all that stuff, but the main character, the guy, he was trying to get his life put back there. He had a daughter. He was divorced. The wife remarried a cop or detective, and and he shows up to the girl's birthday party at the other parent's house, and it seemed somewhat friendly, but he just wants to love his daughter, and the mom brings him outside and says, I think Scott was the name, I'm trying to remember it now, but says, you know what? You start paying your child support, and then we'll talk about visitation. I almost walked out of the movie theater. And I'm a nerd. I mean, Ant-Man's like great movie. I almost walked out. That's the narrative. That's what's allowed to happen. And my wife, she just like goes, oh God, here we go. But every movie.
Now, maybe somebody watching, or even you, Dwayne, and know this, and you can put down in the comments and correct me. I've heard a lot of what happened with Robin Williams was due to a family law battle he was going through.
Oh yeah,
I've never
source
confirmed
material.
that.
Yeah, I think he was pulling some source material. He was pulling, that scene at the end, which I don't even want to talk about because I'm trying to, that's a powerful. If you have not seen Mrs. Doubtfire, that last 5 minutes, ooh, yeah,
the one where he's in court, he's like, I've never been away from my kids, ever. And he's like, I can't do without my kids. He wasn't talking about money. He wasn't worried about that. I can't be without my kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. If you guys haven't watched that, go watch, because it definitely hits different. Wayne Smith said, I just got custody of my oldest 3 kids after years of fighting and not allowed to anything with or for them. I believe it's so she can say she does it all by herself, but the kids got old enough to realize she was the problem. Now they all live with me. The kids blame her. I don't have to talk bad about her. They see what she is about, and nobody likes it. I was losing the fight for a long time, but last month I finally won. I don't want to say that happens all the time, but that is one of those things. Kids are smart, and they start putting the pieces of the puzzle together for themselves, right? And there's so many people when they're young, they're like, I want to tell my kids what's going on. I want to tell my kids what's going on. It reminds me of the kid that was forced to go to church as a kid. They had to go every Sunday, and this is what you're going to believe. This is what you're going to believe. But when the people find it out for themselves, it means so much more. And those kids will figure it out. And when they see it, I'm gonna tell you, moms, if you're doing this, it's not going to be pretty.
That's, applause to the guy, good job, being stable, fit, willing, able, fighting, staying in the fight, talking to the other parents out there that want to give up. Don't ever do it. This guy persevered, and it worked out for him, thankfully. But, the comment that he put in there about, they don't like their mom and stuff. Well, I don't wish Will on anyone, because at the end of the day, the kids are, hurt, however this goes. But they're going to find out. It could take 30 years. The young lady that you spoke with the other day, it could take time, but they are going to find out, and they're going to look back at the parent that caused all those shenanigans and trouble. And I don't know what'll happen. I mean, they're not going to like it. Oh, P. Holt listening. Thank you. Get everybody.
Make sure you say the T on the end, because at first I thought you said P hole.
Yeah, sorry.
I've been thinking. Yeah, it was one of those. It's like, did he say P hole?
P Holt. Yeah. P Holt. What's he doing here? He is 50. He's got those issues, the old man issues. Maybe it's some time for a potty break or something.
Colin Stewart said, "Is the t-shirt?" We got Belfast back in here, dude. He's been.
God, Belfast.
What time is it in Belfast right now? We'd like to know. Is the t-shirt gone yet? Dude, look, dude, I got several of these. What I'm gonna do though is, instead of giving them one away every show, because we're not VAWA funded, right? Facebook automatically keeps up with the top fans and who interacts the most. This could be on all the posts, not just the videos, but you're like, sharing, subscribing, commenting. It'll tell me. I just had it come out last night, and seeing how interactive some of these guys are. And that's, again, community. We've got people coming to be a part of the conversation, even the ones that think you guys are full of crap, right? So we want to arm you again with the ways to challenge that narrative. I'm telling you guys, the culture war is the number one thing we need to be fighting right now. That's what's keeping the legislators, the attorneys, and all these people with the power that they got. Because the second that somebody mentions dads, we can go to the deadbeat. Let's start flipping those questions back around. And I want you guys to take this and really, really study it. We're going to put some time into this one. We're going to be very strategic. If there are some things that you think that needs to be challenged about that narrative, tell us. Maureen Maiden, she just gave us 50 stars.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you've ever had a question or if you've been personally involved, or you've been on the chat forums and someone hit you with something, shoot it over. We'll noodle on it. Talk to the, I don't say the
I'm not noodling on anything, dude. I'll think about it, but I'm not noodling.
You're not gonna noodle on it, but
Being
we
in
can-
dad talk and hearing about noodling, that makes me very uncomfortable.
that's a little scary. Well, I was talking about the other day about what do you give a 13-year-old girl, and I said no matter how this 50-year-old guy says that, it just doesn't sound right, and my wife agreed with me. Just one of those things. Anyway.
Guys,
Moving
we're
on.
going to get to some of these voicemails. I got time to add some more too. So if you got them, keep them coming in. Still got several with child support we're going to try to get to today as well. 762-441-0281. Tell us, how much did it cost for you to be a dad inside a family court? What was the price tag? Because it can get a little interesting sometimes.
Much love, fellas, and to all the dads out there. Yeah, I recently been separated for 2 years, and of course, the wife, the ex-wife, I call, it's pretty much using my kids as a ransom. And she moved across the street. She busted a Kanye West on me. The question is, do I have rights to get my kids back without going through the system? I mean, can I see them anytime I want to? I mean, they're right across the street. 80% bad, 20%, I guess, good. Much love, fellas. It's kind of like a complicated situation, but I'm not trying to blow up the spot. Raymond Flores, Fresno, California. Thank you so much, fellas.
Thank you, brother. That is a good question, and that's one we've heard on the voicemails yet. I think, one, it's going to be according to your state laws. Again, we said we're not attorneys, so we're just going to give it to you with what we've got in our heads. Okay. One, it's going to be different in each state. It's going to matter if you were married or not married. Were you on the birth certificate? A lot of people don't know this, and this is very important. I've talked about the cases where kids were born and mom put them up for adoption, and because dad wasn't on the birth certificate, he couldn't do anything. There is something in each state called the Responsible Fatherhood Registry, right? If you two split up, you can put it on there to say, I am the dad, even though she's not going to put me on the birth certificate. What does that do? That doesn't give you rights. But like, say one got put up for adoption, you'd be able to get your kid back because you
Hopefully.
said I am, but it's going to sign you up on child support, right?
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah, they didn't go, oh, we care about the kids. We need to have a
No.
registry that's going to, help our fathers become good fathers. No. They're like, child support. What's another avenue we can, pull it in? As Eric mentioned, a lot of this depends on were you married, were you not. Now, if you have a parenting plan, we'll just kind of make some grand assumptions here that you have a parenting plan through the court system. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that parenting plan is the minimum possession order, and it's called a few different things in different states, but and actually attorneys like to tout that it's the minimum, but it's the minimum amount of time. If you've got first, third, fifth weekends or standard possession order or whatever it is in your state, that's the bare minimum that one parent, the time they can have with their child. The other parent, you're supposed to be adults, and you work out all things. If everything falls to crap, that's what you fall back to, or that's the legal piece of it. But you should be able to get more if the other parent's being good. Maybe one of those questions. But as far as seeing the child whenever you want to, you'd think you could. You can, I believe, go to their school, have lunch with them. Of course, that could introduce some other issues. But if it's her parenting time, she gets that time. It was in the court order. That is her time. And if you come over and she don't like you, which I'm making the assumption she don't. That can cause that'll cause a lot of problems. Best thing you can do, tell her to put her big girl panties on, sit down over.
Don't tell her to put her big girl panties on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is all my expressive way of do not tell her. Oh God, don't tell her to calm down. Oh boy, yeah, we have a list of things you don't tell a woman. Calm down.
I know what you're saying. We just want to be careful because I think one of the ways, and as much as it sucks for these guys, that you could probably get a little bit further. One, he's saying, what rights do I have? Can I do this without the courts? You absolutely can, but she has to be willing to do it too.
Yeah.
If she's not willing to do it too, then you're probably going to have to go through the courts. Yeah. And one of the ways to get them to cooperate, I think, is showing them some vulnerability. As much as it's hard and keeping your emotions at bay, I've said it on several shows. I'll tell you again, you can try this, man. Again, not an attorney, just a friend. But hey, we came together. We made a child. we don't want to be together anymore. And I know that sometimes we can't see eye to eye. But if you will name a place, a time, I'll be there. And let's see if we can come together to parent the child, because I want them to know that we can do this together rather than having to go give this money to the attorneys that we could be spending on them. Sometimes that works. There's going to be the people down in the comments, that's never going to work in my situation. I understand. I've seen situations that people thought that would never work, and it did, Dwayne.
Yeah.
And guess what? That kept the judges, it kept the attorneys and other people out of it. That's what I would suggest. But you're showing a little bit of vulnerability. I'm allowing you to name the time. I'm allowing you to name the place, and that's showing give and take. You've already showed two different things there, that if she says it, I'll be there and you'll abide by it. Like I said, sometimes it works. See how that works, guys. But
report back.
Yep. If you're with Amber Heard, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, no, not going to work.
That was, just an expression. I'm not really talking about you, Amber, but
I'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah. I'd love. Come on, Amber. Come on. You know who we should get on the show is that psychologist was in the Depp case.
Yeah, I was icky. I mean, watching that part of it, I had to take showers every 5 minutes. It was
but it's a perfect representation of what we got out there as court experts.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, all sleazeballs, really.
Yeah. Oh, Divorce Corp, the custody evaluator. I mean, the famed custody evaluator out of Divorce Corp, Mr. Let It Snow Keenan. Yeah, if you haven't watched Divorce Corp, it's on YouTube. I would say buy it, but it's on YouTube. Watch it. It is an eye-opening experience.
Oh man, this one hurts right here. P hole. I'm just kidding. I was playing P Holt. I think I know who that is. That might be Pamela. Oh. She said, my 89-year-old dad passed away in July in my home, and my mother destroyed his life. I'm the only sibling of 5 who sees what happened to my father. Is the worst. My father was kept from his at cut off there. We got that show, like I said, that's coming. Hopefully sometime soon. I haven't heard back from him. We talked a couple of times yesterday, but that's another thing too, like in challenge in the narrative, make sure that we talk about that one, Dwayne, is putting out there in the community for some of these kids that might see it. Ask questions. Don't just assume he wasn't there. Don't just assume he didn't want to love you. Ask questions. And then when you find out the answers to those, maybe you'll at least have some comfort in your heart. What's so sad is we've been just so programmed that if dad's not there, it's almost normal. So we can just build that hatred up and hate him because he was another one of these deadbeat guys that fit the narrative. And many people end up going their whole lives not having a relationship with somebody that would have been their right-hand man, been there for him through anything. And a lot of times when they meet him, he dies right after. We've seen it so many times, or they never even get the chance. And that's just so sad. They're learning about their parent through his family and other memories. That's the other thing. There could be a whole other side of the family, guys, that love you to death. Okay. They love you to death, but they are not getting to see you. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that, they meet their father and then shortly thereafter they pass away. I've had, deaths in the family. And from what I've read is that these people hold on until they get to accomplish something great or something that's been weighing on them. They fight. I mean, they're still fighting, and they fight until they get to do that, to settle that issue so they can then peacefully pass away. But yeah, for the kids, any kids that might be watching, if you're in that situation, reach out to the alienated parent, the one that, isn't in your life, try find them. They're probably older, so they're probably on Facebook. Reach out to them. And I know. Yeah. Don't get on TikTok or InstaSnap because they probably won't be there. They can't figure out how to turn it on. Right here, but reach out to them and start the conversation, because you might find out that they had been fighting and spending every penny they had, and they finally you get beat down. I know the whole fight, you get beat down so hard for so long, no one's there, and in order to wake up the next day, sometimes you just got to pull back from the fight, but they're always going to love you.
This is a perfect situation to bring this one up. Do you want to know the truth or do you not want to know the truth?
Yeah,
You
red
have the
pill.
choice. You can take the red pill or you can take the blue pill. The blue pill, you continue going on and listening to the narrative that happened and may never get that relationship. The red pill, you may find out that the stories were true, or you might also
Yeah.
find out that you had a loving father there that would have been there for you through thick and thin. And I can tell you a lot of times that's what it is. I hope this gentleman's still here. I haven't seen him on here before, and I want my brothers to pitch in with me and help me with this. It's a little bit outside of the family court, but I'm glad we're getting stuff like this and we can give our experiences. Mr. Luigi Garcia said, "Am I ready to be a dad, and how do you know?" I guess at this point in time, Dwayne, I could use this to say, I was ready to be a dad. I was so excited. I was one of the most scared guys on the face of this earth. I was 19 years old. 19 years old, I believe, when I became a dad. And it was one of the most scary things ever. But I grew into it, and it transformed my life and became the greatest thing. But before that, I was scared. Were you one of the ones that was excited, or did you have a little bit of reservations?
Me, well, mine a little different. When I got married, sat down with my partner. We talked about it, and I didn't want to be a part-time dad. I grew up in a broken home, who also grew up in a broken home, and I wanted to change that legacy. And so when I sat down, my goals, I wanted to be able to provide for my family, as most men do. So I said, I need to go to college. So I did overload classes and worked full time. So, I was going school 5 days a week, Monday through Thursday, Saturday, from 5 to 10:30. And I'm like, I couldn't be the dad I want to be doing that. But so we put off having children until I graduated college. And so it was more planned. It was right after I graduated college, but it was planned. But I tell you, I mean, I have the videos from the birth and all that. And my oldest is 21, and I still look back on that. I mean, ooh, I'm gonna try to make this not Dwayne cries every episode.
All good, brother.
It was I mean, holding your kid in your hand. I mean, both my boys holding him and looking at it, just amazing. Words can't describe it. But was I ready? You're never ready.
No.
You have the ones that tell you, you're not going to sleep for a while. It's true in my case. You all the things that you learn, the things that you teach. Thankfully, his grandpa, was able to. He was alive. So he taught him all the things that I did when I was little, like I'd open doorknobs and run out. Well, I have a picture of grandpa helping the youngest open a door and stuff like that, teaching him to pee outside on the tree. I mean, all those funny things. We played games. I mean, in our backyard, I had a ride lawnmower, and we played lawnmower basketball. I set up a hoop. We had a ride lawnmower, and the kids were shooting. I mean, just all that stuff. It's the greatest thing you could ever do.
I feel so sorry for any of the ladies that are watching this and have never got to pee on the tree, like Dwayne said, or that can just whip it out and go, now I'm talking about noodling again. But, it's a great liberating experience. But no, Luigi, like, being serious with you, man. I mean, look, dude, I was still a kid myself. I have tried to analyze this so many times, Dwayne. My brother was 10 years older than me. My sister was 7 years older than me. By the time I'm in high school, I've already got nieces and nephews, and I felt like the one that was, behind the caboose.
Yeah.
And I wanted to catch up with them. And I tried to grow up a little bit too quick, and I was not ready. But my wife at the time said she wanted to have a kid, and I thought I was being a good husband. Let's do it. And I'll tell you how in denial I was. This is not the easiest thing to admit. But that whole time, it never comprehended with me that I was going to be a dad, because I was still that kid. I was stuck in my routine. And then I'll never forget, one morning, her mama came down and stayed with us. And she woke up and she said, "Eric, my water broke. The baby's coming." And I sit up and I'm trying to comprehend it. And this is just my immature mind. I looked at her and I said, "No, it's not." And then she looks back at me and she said, Eric,
Nope.
the baby is coming.
This is
And
not the
I
water
did this,
breaking you're looking
dude.
for.
I just sat there. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Again, I said the baby is coming. No, it's not. And about that time, I hear, Mom. So mom came in there, and the whole time that I'm sitting there waiting on the baby to come, I'm like, I'm still not comprehending it.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I'm-
can't process it.
But the second that baby was born, man,
Mm.
your
Like it was
life
yesterday.
changes forever.
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell you I completely turned my life around. It was about my third child in. And I remember looking down in my child's eyes and just like, man, dude, come on. You know, there's something about becoming a dad that matures the man. So you might not be
Yeah.
ready because the person that you are right now doesn't understand the person you are about to become. Trust the
Oh,
process.
Preach.
Trust the process. It is going to be one of the greatest experiences that you can have in your life, as long as you don't end up in the stuff that we're talking about here. So many people have had that opportunity ripped away from them. But for those of us that have got to parent that child and that have went through that process that matures us, we know what being a dad means. And so many people aren't getting that opportunity. So I would say to
Yeah.
you, brother, it looks like you got a woman in the picture with you. As long as you got that strong nuclear family and y'all are planning on doing this together, trust the process. You can't understand what you will, because it hasn't got here yet, but you're going to love it.
Yeah, you can't. You cannot explain to someone that has not a parent yet the awesomeness of being a dad and a mom. I mean, and I can't explain what it's like to be a mom. I mean, Luigi, congrats in advance. I mean, you are in for a wild ride, and it's going to be awesome. And I hope to God you guys make it for the good of you both and
man.
good of your kids. It is a wild ride, and it's awesome. There is nothing better than fatherhood.
And so, again, not attorneys, if I can give you friendly advice. If she wakes up and says the baby's coming, get the clothes, get ready, go. Okay? Don't be this guy. But it was just one of those, like my life was a mess, Dwayne. And I was like, I don't know that I'm ready for this. I was doing what my partner wanted.
Yeah.
And I guess it just never clicked. Ooh, I got to be a part of this too. Right?
Oh,
but then 1 year later, I become a single dad and I'm raising that 1-year-old girl. And I was just as scared then because I didn't want to fail her. I did not want to fail her.
Yeah.
It's amazing, dude. It's a beautiful, there's going to be challenges. You're going to make mistakes. Don't be too hard on yourself. I am curious, Luigi, if you're still on here and you're watching this, did you have a father? Because that sounds like a question. I mean, I guess we all go through it. Yeah. But a lot of these guys that didn't have a father and didn't see that masculinity play out in the household, they get very nervous because they're like, I don't know, I don't have anything to base this off of. But you got this, brother. Yeah, and I'm thankful that you're asking these questions because we've all been there.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some in the Dad Talk Today support group. Guys, if you're not there, join it. It's 100% free. I've heard everything from like changing diapers to burping the kid and everything. And I'm just like, oh, dude, yeah. I never knew that somebody was going to need this. I went through it for a reason. Let me tell you how to do it. You just hold them right here.
Baby farts.
What's that?
Baby farts. They're the best.
Don't tell you that don't let anybody tell you it doesn't stink.
Oh, yeah, no.
Just because it's a baby don't mean nothing.
No.
Wait until you get the ones where it starts running down the leg. Back to the voicemails. All right, 762-441-0281. I've done had several of them come in. We're going to keep them going. Right. Bring them to us, guys.
My name is Violet from Oklahoma, and all I got to say is I think there's a lot of dads out in the world that struggle with things, you know, on their own, in their mind, that they don't ever really speak of. And I really think that goes underestimated. You know, I'm not saying that moms don't have the spotlight, but I feel like they get too much credit. I don't see why dads only get a little portion of it. So I can definitely understand how much does it cost to be a dad. Being a dad, anybody can do that. But being a real father, that takes a lot. Well, love you guys. Love watching you guys. And y'all have a great day.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you for that, Violet. And you bring up a real question. These guys aren't expected to have these different feelings and stuff. Because of that narrative, Dwayne, and the reason I get so upset about it, and I'll look like the preacher sometimes doing what I'm doing, because we was just having this conversation off air the other day. There was times up here I thought I was going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, all I want to do is be a dad. I don't want any of the conflict that's going on. And it seems like nothing I do is working. And I feel like I'm just fighting this journey and this battle up here that nobody knows about. And it's not just nobody knows about it. It feels like they don't care. And you wonder why these guys get on social media and just blah. They want to tell their story because they're holding so much of this in, and eventually it pops. They're like, I got to get this out. But if you only understood what's going on in our men's head up here, and we need to foster those conversations. And the sad thing is, they do show up here and they do it, but there's always those people that don't want them to, that hurry up and try to shut them up. And then that's when it comes back on me. Eric, why aren't you blocking these ladies? Why aren't you blocking this person? I can't block all ladies. Listen to this one that just called in. That was beautiful. Thank you for bringing up that conversation. There's so many people that as soon as they hear it's a man and he's got an issue, they don't care. They don't care, but we care. We care. Just like that guy talking about, how do I know if I'm ready to be a dad? We care about that because that was us at one point in time, man. These are people that are walking down that same journey, and that's all these dads are. We're brothers helping out our brothers. And you know what? We encourage these conversations, but I appreciate that because society doesn't. They don't. We have really just shit on our dads. I don't know how
they don't value it. Yeah, they don't value fathers. I mean, everything we're watching our kids. We're babysitting. We're a paycheck. Kim Kardashian doing her thing with, pay child support to show your co-parenting. Screw that. Screw that narrative. I'm sick and tired of that narrative. I'm a father. I am a parent. I've been in the trenches. All these dads and all the dads, we've been in the trenches. We are just like the moms. Sure, we don't have the bobs do the milk thing and all that. And there's stuff that moms are going to teach. And that's the thing. Moms are going to teach kids stuff that I couldn't begin to teach. Fashion sense being one of them.
Although I will tell you, if you're a dad and you're holding your child on your shoulder and you're just kicking back at night and you got your shirt off and they see your bobs, they don't know the difference.
There are funny videos.
It's going to be an empty milk factory. Okay? Don't let them get close because it's their nature to think, I got to go to the bob.
Eyesight's not what it should be, sporting a B cup.
You're hooked up to the right cup.
Yeah, exactly. But the dads, we bring so much to the table. Well, I mean, we joked about it earlier. Girls, you can't teach the boys how to pee outside or on the Cheerio. I mean, we teach so much, and so do women. The one thing I hope everyone understands with Dad Talk today is that we're here for both mom and dad, but we're talking about dads. I mean, because we are the dads are the shit on people of society. I'm sorry. You can find us on Rumble as well.
We're okay to say that. The sad thing is, dude, like this gentleman just brought this up. Larry Hayes said they don't attack us and they tell their man hating stories. If you go to these other pages, the things that people are just putting out there about men, hell, you saw one of those posts the other day. Men, if the baby's DNA doesn't match as yours, you still need to be a man and take care of that child. Just because it's not yours doesn't mean that you shouldn't be taking responsibility. I'm paraphrasing it, but it's like, okay. But you'll censor something if a man talks about the real challenges. And you never see men go into those pages saying, no, well, what about dads? Or what if a dad does this? They don't, because they want peace. They don't want to get in the middle of that because they know what happens. Rah, 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 rah. Well, I hate to say it, but that's what happens. But they do show up here they because they want to keep the environment the way that it is. This is another conversation we was having offline the other day, Dwayne. In the beginning, because I felt like I had to have that certain image of dad talk, right? You have all these different people in the movement. This is what you need to be doing. You don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing this. And I used to get it all the time. Stop talking about dads. Stop talking about dads. And I started becoming a little bit more neutral because I was like, I care about moms too. So I actually showed a little neutrality, and the neutrality and apologizing, it does nothing for us. It just
No.
makes it worse because it doesn't encourage these men to speak. And the day that it really hit me was we was about maybe a year into it, and we was talking about one of the challenges of fathers. And this lady just came in here, my baby's daddy's not this, men are this, and this. And I saw this gentleman comment down there, and he said, look, you have thousands, literally thousands of pages that you can go and say what you just did. This is the one place that I can come to where I feel like I can talk and I can vent. Can you please leave us alone? And then that's when I said, oh, that neutrality, telling me not to talk about dads. That's the problem. They want to take the dad out. We need to put the dad back in. And it's good that these guys are out here speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're getting that environment. Part of the challenge is getting our guys in here. A lot of them don't know. Look, Saturday and Sunday, our ratings was kicking. Where are they at right now, Dwayne?
Well, they're all at work. They're at work.
I hope that you get to see the replay, guys. We'll replay it tonight at 8:00, but these guys are at work. Yeah. So how do you expect them to not even just do rallies, but to foster this community where they can talk about their feelings? Men aren't afraid to express their feelings. They're afraid of it being used against them. And it is. Their fatherhood is used against them.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about them is used against them. And when you get in a relationship like this, nothing is off the table, man. Nothing.
No. Nothing is. Trigger moment.
There I go. There I go. Sorry. All right, we're going to get back to the voicemails. Keep them coming in. 762-441-0281.
Hey guys, my name is Aaron from California. So I'm just calling in because, I want to talk about the whole mothers needing child support and issue or question. I 100% believe that if the parent is unable to take care of the child on their own, they should not have the child to begin with. Just a little background on myself. I was in a 7-year custody battle with my ex. As soon as we went to court, she quit her job. She went on welfare and essentially purposely made me kind of like pay child support. Even though she had a job that was on the same par, we both made $7K a year in California. So we were doing pretty decent, but just because we went to, a family court, she left her job right away, it sucks. I don't mind paying for my kids, but when I have to pay for her and her lifestyle, plus, on top of that, just a little background also, she got knocked up by her coworker. So while she was with me, she was cheating on me with her coworker, who became her husband or baby daddy number 3 or 4 at this point. So the money I spend for my kids, I know 100% doesn't go to my kids. It goes to her other 2 kids with her new husband at this point, and stuff. And it's just one of those things where we need to have a system to know how much she's spending. And then the reason why she's not, she's supporting her other kids and has in the house and everything. She needs to have a job. She can't be just living off of other people's money. And you mean like for me, I have a job. I'm able to, take care of the kids. I have a place with rooms and stuff like that. So the kids should have came to me because she's not able to support herself. So I feel like that's what we need to kind of push for. Is if in this conversation with like judges and stuff, is like, you guys got to make the right choices. If the person's not able or capable, they should not have the children, because then the kids grow up in a messed up mind state, seeing this kind of things happen. But yeah, thanks for letting me talk about this issue. There's a lot of stuff going on with it. Like I haven't seen my kids in over a year and stuff because of the court systems and stuff. So, it's good to see you guys are actually out there doing things. So I appreciate you guys.
Dude, that's a couple of calls from California. We're hearing more and more from them, and it's crazy. I hear so many people say California's courts are actually in decent shape. Nah, that is if that is called good shape, You know, and here, this guy brought up many things. So make sure I don't forget about this one, Dwayne.
Right.
You know, the fact that if he makes the most money and can take care of the kids, why is he having to pay child support to a person that doesn't work a job to take care of the kids that did this? This is where I go back to no fault divorce. Here is a guy that was with a lady, starts having an affair with a coworker, gets pregnant, gets knocked up. Then she's not working a job. And we just automatically say that this father, the adultery doesn't matter. None of that
Nope.
matters. The
Nope.
fact that she's not working a job, it doesn't matter. But we're going to give custody to her and you're going to pay for it. He didn't do anything to deserve that besides getting with her. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Men, you should have chose better. That's bull crap.
Yeah, because he woke up. I want to meet an adulterer. I want to meet someone that's going to cheat on me. Take my. Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's ludicrous.
I'm sorry if I offend any of the men with this too. Adultery should be against the law. It's supposed to be, but it's just like perjury. It's when you got these things in court and they stop doing anything about it, like perjury or adultery. This is how you end up where we're at right now. I mean, here is a guy that was being a good partner. He finds out about this. He's blindsided. Not only is he blindsided from the relationship, damaged up here, but he's got to go to work every day to support her for doing it to him.
Yeah.
No
Insult
fault
to
divorce.
injury.
And no fault divorce actually started in California, bud.
Governor Ronald Reagan. Yeah.
He later, I got to give it to Reagan. He later said it was the worst thing he did while he was in office, but it doesn't take away the fact that you did it. I mean, by the time you did it, the damage is done. And I don't know, even, you know, as passionate as Morgan is, I hear it all the time. You're never going to get anything done about no fault divorce. It's going to be a hard one. It really is going to be a hard one. And it is what's caused a lot of these, but brings up the interesting conversation. All right, let's bring it in here. You guys get your comments in. Me and Dwayne, we're about to go back and forth on it. If he is the one that is making the money and he can take care of the kid, he's got the home, and she's over here, she's not working a job, she's having affairs and stuff, why doesn't he have custody of the kid?
Title 4D funding. That's
Really?
I mean, that's the reason. I mean, well, again, it's welfare recovery program that incentivizes the states to collect child support. You know, if that worked the way it should ethically work, yeah, she committed adultery. They should get divorced. He should get most of the assets. He should, you know, if she can't afford to take care of the kids, I mean, they should have done a 50-50, because on the flip side, if, you know, there was adultery, the person's bad, not him being him or her being a parent. So
That messed you up, didn't it?
Bob's.
That messed you up, didn't it?
He doesn't have Bob's.
That was too good not to put on there. I did. You know what? I think Bob's has already gotten branded on the show.
I think that should be a little tag or something up there, the Bob's. But and again, this is out there for the ladies and the men. You know, if you have an adulterer situation or someone's cheating, however you want to cookie coat that thing or sugar coat it, that just means, you know, the person didn't value the relationship, etc. It makes them a bad person, whatever. It does not make them a bad parent. You should not punish them by taking away their kids. But that's all you ever hear. I mean, you're going to hear if someone cheated, I'm taking away your kids. Why would you do that? I mean,
Not taking away the kids full time, but should there be some weight inside of the court that if somebody goes outside of the marriage and does this, and say it's the guy, like in this case, and she's cheating with the coworker, that should probably be listened to a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, there should be 4-cause divorce, adultery being one of them. Yep. And the laws they have in place, again, you know, they'll judge's discretion and all that stuff. But, you know, that person gets primarily the majority of the assets because, again, they were the one injured. And the thing is, marriage is a contract. In contract law, if you look at look at the basics here. Contract law is if someone breaches the contract, they should suffer the repercussions of. I mean, it's common sense.
So there's other things too, man. I mean, that is a very dangerous thing. What if somebody ends up getting HIV, AIDS, HPV, herpes, or something like that from a situation, and they're being a good spouse? They don't know that Jody's there. They don't know Jody that's carrying that has been unloading on their wife that they are coming home to every night thinking is their partner.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the HIV and all the other fun acronyms and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean that should be a criminal thing, especially the HIV. California has decriminalized it. little side note, they decriminalize if you knowingly give someone that fun little thing. It's now been decriminalized. Whole probably separate red hat or a tinfoil hat moment.
California's done, undone everything that's moral, it seems like.
Yeah, there's so much to be said about
I
how
said it.
California's laws. I mean, they actually, when California makes a law, it usually what happens is it just sweeps across the country, both for these items and financial. It's weird. I'm in mortgage, so had to get all the financial stuff. But yeah, when California does a law, they're kind of the moral fabric of society, which that's a scary notion. But yeah, when they make a law, it crosses over. But going back to the cheater.
Yep.
Yeah, there should be, and if the wife or the cheater can't take care of the children, they should go to the dad. I mean, that's ethical common sense, but that doesn't fund the judge's retirement. That doesn't feed the $60 billion a year industry. That doesn't cause all of this damage.
How dare you, Dwayne?
Do what?
She's homeschooling and breastfeeding. I said, how dare you? She's homeschooling and breastfeeding.
So.
Oh, that was a shot. All right, come on, because I get to use an emoji on this one, and it's but we want to bring this up. Larry Hayes said, that's where I'm at. My daughter was 9 when I found out. Now I'm trying to get a paternity test. Courts say it doesn't matter. Well, I think it does. How can a woman lie for years and get away with it? How can the courts tell you that you are responsible? Get it, dude. Get it. They say it doesn't matter. You need to reach out to Carnell Smith, the paternity coach .com. I want to say it's the paternity coach. Where is it?
Oh yeah, the book.
This is a great book. Let me pull down my DNA test. Trapped by law. Stop paying child support for paternity fraud. That man got legislation passed in 11 different states to protect guys like you because they tried to say that he had to pay child support for a kid that wasn't his. And then as soon as he found out the kid wasn't his, he's still paying child support and he's no longer able to see the kid.
Yeah. Funny thing is that most states, and I think I read 9 years old, but there was a statute of limitations. If you have not established paternity or proved paternity was not yours within, say, 2 years, I think is the average, you're stuck. You can't. We have a guy down here.
That's
they're
paying
all over the country, but down here he owes $80,000-$90,000 in child support. People are being thrown in jail left and right for children that are not theirs, and they're okay with it. Again, it's Title IV. The court, they don't care. I guess
don't.
When we get calls and comments about they need to be fair. They fair is that thing that we all down here in Texas, we go down to the state fair once a year. That's the only time you're going to see fair in Texas or any other state. They don't care. It's about the Title 4D funds, and they're not changing their minds unless we peacefully make them.
I've told this story numerous times, and if you go on YouTube, you go on Facebook, when Carnell's been on the show, I get him to bring it up every single time because it's one of the stories that inflames me the most. I just told it not long ago. But there was a case where a woman got pregnant. Her and the dad both knew, but neither of them had money, and they knew this other guy that was sort of well off. So she goes and sleeps with him and makes him think that he is the father, and they do it right away so those dates match up. I think he went around 11 years and paying child support, and that's around when you can really tell if the kid's not looking like you or not.
Right.
Sometimes, I mean, like in Carnell's case, he was like, I shared similarities with the biological father. They was both black, right? There can be, and they can just really trick you into thinking like this is your kid. Don't go off of the looks test. But at 11, he started seeing things like there's not a way. So he goes and gets a paternity test. Finds out the kid wasn't his. What happens? The biological father comes to surface. Mom gets in trouble during this time, goes to jail. So now this guy that's been paying for this paternity fraud, this child support, not only is he still paying, but the custody goes to the biological father who they just found out about. And now the guy that was a victim of paternity fraud is paying child support to the biological father.
All sanctioned by the courts, all rubber stamp. This is the smartest decision we can make. This is ethical. This makes courts don't care.
Why wouldn't mom be paying child support if biological dad had to get the kid?
Mhm.
Or why didn't we turn it back around and say the biological father has got the kid, now he's financially responsible? No, the guy that was on that dotted line, the courts did the same thing that mom did. They knew who had the money.
Oh yeah.
And that's the one that they kept on the hook. And they wonder why some of these guys are going crazy, man. Dude, could you imagine finding out that a kid wasn't yours that you've been a parent to? I mean,
Oh, and then no one even brings up so the guy paid the 11 years worth on that. Ooh. I would like Chuck Norris. Oh, I wish.
Chuck just found out he had a daughter that he didn't know about for
Yeah.
years, man. I need Chuck, Texas Walker Ranger. Come here. I want to talk to you. I would love
Yeah.
to have you and your daughter on. That would be a good one. The crazy thing, I was reading on the story, and she was talking about when she went and knocked on the door, she didn't know what she was going to get. And he opened the door and she said, "I think you're my father." Said the first thing he did was hug her.
Oh wow.
I mean, that
Wow.
was pretty strong, dude. And then he said, "I believe you, but I would like to find out for sure. Is that okay?"
Yeah.
And then brought her in and treated her like dad from that second on. And it was his daughter. That's a beautiful
Wow.
story.
That's a story.
Now, Chuck, I know a lot of people make jokes about you, man. But that's, dude, that's in line with those jokes, because that's a pretty good man right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a
good
pretty
guy.
good man. All right, let's get off Chuck Norris. 762-441-0281. I'll get your voicemail later, Chuck.
I'm John from California. I wanted to see about getting the topic of dads that haven't seen their kids in over a couple of years due to alienation from the mom. What do we do about whenever our kids don't want to see us because of what they've been programmed in their head by the other parent? Thanks.
And that was pretty short and sweet and simple. You know, dude, like, educate yourself. And I don't think it's talked about enough. I had the psychologist, and you can go watch that show. It was one I did earlier this year. He actually came to the studio, Professor William Burnett.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that's been trying to get parental alienation in the DSM-5, the ICD-11, very, very smart guy. And he's educated me on this. People, when they say alienation, you got to understand there's different levels. You got mild, moderate, severe, right? And most of the nation, and like we're talking about, like, I think 20 million are experiencing alienation tendencies, right?
Right.
You got about, I think he said, around 400,000 that are alienated. These are kids that have been brainwashed so severe, there is no coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
That's
done.
sad. Like, it's done. Cut it off. So I think it's going to be, where are they at? Are they going to start questioning? Are they even going to be able to get away from mom long enough to even be able to question it? Because those people do a pretty good job at smothering. Don't get away from me, because they don't want them to find out what's going on. They're not contacting you. They're not doing anything. They give them all those lies. They're fed for so long. And unfortunately, dude, sometimes those kids get that so ingrained in their head that the other parent just gets completely erased. That is child abuse.
There's a documentary, Erased Parents. I'm trying to remember the young lady that produced it, but good primer on kind of that. But yeah, you have it's not just, rubber stamp parental alienation. You have the varying levels. You have the little bits of alienation, which are, the kid comes home and, oh yeah, your daddy or your mommy is just a horrible, person. He's a jerk. Oh, he didn't do, you have that. Then you have the, your dad or mom is cheating and left us. And then you have the big ones, which are that continual barrage of just everything is just horrible. And they cut the phone lines off. They don't, the pickup times. They don't allow that, custody interference, and all those different levels. And you got to figure out where that, that kid is, and if they're resilient enough to come out of it at some point. And just the damage that's done to those kids, it's just ridiculous.
It is, man. It really is. And this is the hardest part about doing what we do, Dwayne. You just don't know. You don't know where that kid is in their head.
You just got to try and be there. I mean, you get what I would say. Oh,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, this is where, talking to dads, talking to parents, but dads, when your kid is, going through the alienation and all this crap, and they're gonna at times hate you. If you have a perfect relationship, your kids are gonna hate you. Anyone got teenagers? I mean, been there, done that. But you got to be, the parent, the adult, and take it. I mean, it's not fair, but life ain't fair. They're gonna, oh, you abandoned us, you did this, you did that. You've got to love them through that.
I'm not laughing at you.
We got a good comment.
Ah.
What we got?
Like Levi, I'll get to that one, man. But this one just, sometimes you get these comments and you're like, oh, dude, this was good. Seth, I'm giving it to you. Oh, wrong one.
Oh, even bump into her.
Yeah, I'm sure Chuck Norris didn't even have relations with that woman. He is so pwned just bumping into her on accident could have gotten her pregnant. Wow. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
It's plausible. We need that on Mythbusters.
You know what? That'll be proven true. Actually, I saw in the comments, again, a certain name keeps popping up there. I forgot my wife got to meet Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Well, yeah, I wonder. Well, I might have to talk with her and see if we can arrange a little something. I don't know. Because
yeah, do it, man, please.
Yeah,
I just put a reel on Instagram not too long ago that tripped me out. Have you ever seen that movie? I forget what it was called, but this guy is trying to run away from Chuck Norris, and he runs out and he's looking at him, and so the guy's going to try to run him over with a car. But Chuck just starts running, jumps up in the air and does a jump kick, goes through the windshield, and just smashes the guy in the head and kills him.
Chuck Norris.
Oh, dude, don't mess with that man.
Oh no, Chuck!
Don't mess with that man.
He is the man.
We'll get back on this though, because I saw this from Mr. Levi. He said it's happening right now. My heart is broken completely. My daughter was my best friend since she was born. Mother couldn't handle the good bond. Dwayne, I think I shared a video with you.
Yeah.
What was it? Just yesterday? And I don't like getting into my personal situation, but first words, Dada. Hey, Dada. That's my video. I don't even look at it. I don't even look at it. That was the first words.
Yeah,
either.
Yeah, it was a beautiful video. I mean, just that smiling face. I know we're in dangerous territory here, but yeah, looking at that, that precious, great kid, looking at it and saying those words. I mean, it hit me in the uterus. I mean, it was something. It was beautiful. I did show my wife that, and it got her too. Parents. I mean, all I can say is I am so sorry about that, and I'll stop now.
No. It's okay, man.
I know it's painful.
It is. I don't even look at pictures. I've had people that they'll try to send you pictures. Oh, I saw this. I'm like, don't show that to me, man. I shouldn't be seeing anything through pictures.
No.
I shouldn't be seeing anything through pictures, but there's this pain that we go through, Levi. It doesn't get better, but you learn this situation and you got to continue on.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of these guys don't know how to fight it, and they just let it mess them up. And then we're coming to one of the worst times of year. And a lot of these guys that sit there and they'll look at these pictures and okay. He said, I had to take her picture down. I couldn't handle the constant. Dude, I'm just saying. Dwayne, we've been having these conversations. There's parts of my phone I can't even scroll through the pictures.
Right. Yeah.
I know what's in that corner. I've got it in case I need it. And I'll tell you, the last time I actually sat down and consumed that was Christmas last year. And it got ugly. It got ugly, man. I know there was people out there in the community. It was one of those, I spent every second of my day trying to empower these guys that are going through this situation, telling them how to prepare. And now here I am. Who do I have to talk to? And how do I cope with this? I was going nuts, man. Nuts. So if that's a trigger for you, I can tell you, man, I've been through that one. Don't let that. And I'm telling you guys, especially on Christmas, that's what a lot of people are going to try to do. I mean, I got the picture of my dad right here. He passed away. I'm grieving over him, but I have to grieve over that. Parental alienation is like grieving the loss of a living child that 15 minutes away, Dwayne. 15 minutes.
Yeah, and the it's just so unfair. And the person that does that knowingly and willingly does that. I mean, what would you say? I mean, what would you say to that person in any of those situations? Oh, Levi's, sir, last Christmas was my low. I snapped emotionally all alone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's positive there. Yeah. I mean, we want to do more. We want to, get this out there, shout from the rooftops, get this massive problem fixed. Dads, we're important. We're there. We matter. I mean, you hear this blubbering guy at this point, and Eric's got his testimony, and you've seen all these things. These dads that don't care, that aren't important, that we're paychecks. We're expendable. No, we're important.
The deadbeats aren't going to be here.
Exactly. There's no deadbeat on here going, yeah, I love to abandon my kid. No. They're not here. They're
out doing my
whatever.
kid. I shouldn't have to pay for my kid. I don't want nothing to do with my kid. I shouldn't be a daddy. You're not seeing that.
Yeah.
You're not seeing that. You're seeing the guys that are fighting tooth and nail. And that's
Giving
why
everything.
We're going to give you that guy. And I mean, anybody. Carrie said the importance of a dad is greatly underestimated. Of course he is, man. Look at the fatherless statistics. If it was toxic masculinity, why is this nation failing and in the shape it is? Because of the lack of masculinity. We need the dad back in a home. That was the target, and it was the target for a reason. It was.
Do the research. Yeah.
It's working as designed.
It's working as designed. And if you think we're crackpots, or you're on here and you're thinking, oh, these guys, whatever, go do the research. It's actually, again, not to plug my site, but pissedoffparent.com. All the research is there. It's all over the internet, documented, peer-reviewed research. Fatherlessness has caused pretty much every problem we have.
Derek, tell us what you're looking at. Anyone here that lives out of state from their kids, I need help. Tell us what you're needing, brother. That's what we're here for. And here's somebody you might be able to reach out to, Mr. Mike Whitney. He's done this for years. He said, I'll take calls throughout the holidays for anyone having a hard time. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. There's the number, 716-866-6169. And I can guarantee you got a brother right there that'll listen to you. I mean, dude, it's a lovely community. I mean, us guys, it's a lovely community, and we're all just trying to make it through. Right.
Yeah.
I can just tell you, I hate sharing parts of those because they hurt. Right. But there are the triggers, and the worst time of year is coming up.
Yeah. Have a plan. Have a Mike. Thank you for putting your number out there. I mean, he's one of the good guys. I mean, you're not going to, he's one of the good guys. He is.
He'll get fired up too.
He'll get fired up. Yeah. Be ready. If you want
to get fired up, you want to hear his thoughts on the system, you're going to get it.
You will certainly get an unfiltered view of his thoughts on the situation. But the guy's gold. I mean, platinum. Yeah. I mean, great guy. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to keep those voicemails rolling. 762-441-0281.
John, Texas, $70,000. She spent $100,000, and we're nowhere near finished. So I am figuring, all said and done, it'll be another $80,000 on my side, plus her $100,000. So figure $250,000 just because she wants to be difficult.
That was it, dude. I'm curious. Like, when you say you're at 70, she's at 100, are you going to be on the hook for her part?
Happens.
That happens all the time. Are you going to have to pay those attorney's fees? Because that makes it even worse. But if she is the one that's responsible for that, at what point do we get together and say, look, this is BS. Let's stop feeding these guys over here. They don't want to get us. I mean, look at it. You're still in litigation and it keeps going. What did the attorneys do for you? What did they do for you? They probably made things worse. They made you fight. You guys could have had this money.
Yeah.
You could have had this money. And you could have, how many diapers, how much food, how much clothing?
Legacy fund, house.
What did the attorneys do for you guys?
No, I mean, again, not an attorney. I went through something.
No, we don't want to be.
Yeah, we don't want to be. I mean, God, I couldn't sell my soul like that. You may want to reach out to her and go, look, these are the assets. How about I cut you, whatever, and we walk away from this. It worked for me. Because I don't know if you have kids or that situation, but I knew I was going to end up being a weekend warrior dad with the way Texas is. I'm out of Texas, and I took everything I had and said, "Here you go," and it worked. I mean, take a shot. What's the worst that could happen?
That's it. Harrison over on YouTube said, and the funny part is my close friends chastise me about not seeing my son for the past 3 years, but no one is chastising the mother or putting her under the flame. No, because of that thing. And if you're on YouTube, you can get this now because of this. Because of this, there is the Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day. There are ways there ready to rush in to protect her, right? Whether it's the new boyfriend, whether it's the new friends, whoever it is, there's so many people there. They will take up for her, but they always make it look like you. If you are a dad and you're not in your child's life, there's a reason behind it. And there's never any in between, and people rarely even ask questions, Dwayne. They rarely even ask questions. Is he there? Has he asked about his kids? Are you blocking him from the kids? That's where we're going to get into tomorrow. I'm telling you, you guys take this. I want it to become the Bible for this movement and study this so we can start challenging these narratives, because there is a perfect example of a dad that's being kept away, but nobody is asking why he's kept away. We're just automatically assuming piece of crap. Piece of crap.
Yeah, they don't see that the guys, and also what happens is the guy's been gag ordered on top of it because the courts don't want that other narrative. This guy could be a great guy, spending all kinds of money fighting, showing up, getting the custody interference, all that stuff, and the judge says, if you talk about this in any way, shape, or form, you're done.
Well, and I want you guys to go back to that, right? How people aren't asking those questions. And then again, you're messed up here because you're the ones fighting that battle, and you're probably going to give some emotions back. Well, you didn't know this. You didn't know this. I want to give you those things that you start asking those questions so that you can really put them in the corner and say, I want you to see the whole situation, right? Could you imagine if all of our guys around the world started doing that, Dwayne? Could you imagine? Because I'm telling you, this thing is completely ass backwards, dude. This thing is ass backwards. There's so many of these guys that are fighting this. It is crazy. But getting back to you there, Derek, he said, my ex keeps my children away from me because I live out of state. Just canceled Christmas and had to change flights, presents, everything. Says my girls don't want to come see me. They are tired of a telephone dad, but my daughters say the opposite and voice it. I'm just broken. Dude, I go through that too. Oh, they said they don't want to come over. You know what's crazy, Dwayne? I was that custodial dad, and there was numerous times because my kids saw what went down, and they said, Dad, I don't want to go. And I said, you're going. Why? I don't want to go. Because it's your parent. And even though you might not agree with what happened, they do love you. Sometimes you're not going to get that same respect on the other side. And then even that'll be used against you though, right? But somebody should be encouraging that relationship. And here we go. Here goes the holiday hijacking. There's going to be some reason that around the holidays, oh, you're just a telephone dad. Well, hell, if I live out of state, what you expect? I don't know how far away he lives. You want me to come for 10 hours every day? You can't. Right. Unfortunately, and those are the cases where, child support might be in question. What child support and what level, but then again, let him see his kid. It's that simple. But I think it's just one of those, I want my holidays. I got my new husband. He's got his family. We just kind of want to forget about you. How easy is that for them to do?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. They don't want to step up. And I got to wonder though, I don't know how the out of state thing happened. Was it, which happens a lot? Did mom go, okay, I found a new man on the Tinder and he's over in Florida or wherever he's at. And so she moves out of state. The judge says, yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead and do that. Why would you do that for two fit parents to separate them like that? The problems you're going to have. But the judge rubber stamps it and they shoot off to whatever. And then they wonder why, the alienation, and that, the kids over in the new home aren't like, oh no, your dad loves you. He's going to, no. They're like, oh God, he's a piece. Let me buy you a new motorcycle or a new doll or whatever. And oh no, your dad, he's a piece of garbage, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, man. Carrie Preston So this is exactly what I'm afraid of happening to me. This is the only reason I will always refuse to leave this state. Yes, it will be used against you. It will be. And in the cases where you guys are right down the road from each other, there's no reason why there can't be no 50-50 other than that disrupts the system. And they think they won't be able to make as much money. That's the thing. They are still charging full child support for these cases that have 50-50 anyway. Many of them, right? Yours included. But the reason they don't want to do 50-50 is they're afraid that it's going to affect child support. Even though we're saying, hey, we're not worried about child support, they know they can't keep the argument that you should still do the same child support, because it would set them up to show the greed that the legislation and the attorneys have, right? Like it's not obvious enough already.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and I'll say, what the guy's saying is why I refuse to say, hats off to you for, doing what's best for your children and staying in that state. I mean, you probably want to get as far away from her as possible. That should be, and Gina Kalani in our Texas legislative session a few sessions ago said, the order should be written to where the two parents live in the same school district or same county, whatever that specific needs to be. But that's how it should be. And if one parent does move out of state, I know I probably, I'll own the comment. If you move out of state, there's going to be unfortunate consequences with that. You're going to lose that bond with your child. Zoom and all that's great, but hugging your kid and outside of doing a Zoom call, it's different.
And that's cases where they're going to have a very good argument for child support. You're not helping take care of the kid. You might have to pay some child support. There might be some financial incentives from that. I mean, even in cases with military, that's what I said. The problem's never been that there's going to be cases that are going to need support. How much support, right? So there's many things you got to take in questions when talking about leaving state, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And we got to make sure that we're presenting both sides of the argument here, guys. Oh, yeah. That's it. I think everybody can see that. Harrison said, and the alienation started on Father's Day years ago as the grandmother claimed she had church and doctor's appointments, so she couldn't meet. After Gran said, when she has him, she won't let me see him. Dude, we've heard it all, right? COVID was just the gift from God to an alienator. They've been exposed. I think they've been around somebody and there's nothing that you can do. They will use everything. How about this one? I know you guys have had to do this. You've got a holiday or you've got a family reunion. You've got something where you want your child there and they say, I can't, my family's down right now, or they're spending time with my family. Their family always comes first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you experienced that one?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to a degree, I mean, my personal situation, I mean, we actually had moved to Texas from the home state. So most of the family was up there. So that really wasn't a big concern there. But yeah, I've heard of a lot of cases where that happens, with family. But, that comment that got popped up, we got to do a show. You got to do a show on this one, the church. These people they're like, oh, I went to church and then I stole the kid. How can you go to church, sing the loudest, and then do something like that? Boggles the mind.
I've seen some of the churches be a lot of the reason that the relationships break up.
Yeah.
I've seen it where pastors, wives have cheated with somebody in the congregation. We could go in many different places, but they won't talk about it. The church is one of the most single crooked things out there. Now, I'm not talking about what the church is supposed to stand for, guys.
Oh, no.
And I'm not talking about every church. Let's just go ahead and get all the arguments that have been made. Yeah. But for a lot of these churches, there is nobody that is going to one of these churches that is putting money in that offering plate every Sunday that when they're going through these marriage issues should have to be going to pay for a counselor. Where is that pastor? Or if he can't get to it because he's got a big congregation, why doesn't he have people there to counsel with these guys? Well, you know what? I don't even want to tell you guys to go do that. You want me to tell you why, Dwayne? I see a lot of people when they go through these marriage problems, they're told to go get marriage counseling and they think I got to go to a Christian place. I see them tear apart relationships all the time. Yeah. They don't give them the tools. You guys probably are splitting up. So let's just make sure that we do this amicably. That'd be one of the first things they tell these guys. The church is 100% complicit in this. Okay. Maybe it's because if you split up and then you get new spouses and you continue going to the church, now we got more people that can put money in the offering plate. That's just a joke. I'm just saying the church, we'll get on it. And I know there's some people that's not going to be religious. Okay. I'm one of them. I haven't been in church for a very long time, even as his pastor's son. Both my granddads, they helped start the Church of God. Okay.
Mhm.
I've seen it with my own two eyes, and it pisses me off because they have an opportunity to get involved at a much higher level than just about anybody, man.
They have massive influence. They could influence the culture. I mean, it's the church, and then they just sit there and do their cute little, believe and receive and things. They could do so much more to fix this problem. And then, in the counseling, sit down there and if you do go to Christian counseling, have a pastor that can help you work through the issues, not just just split up or whatever, or hit them with you better be submissive. That's not going to work in today's day and age. Or, you should do that. Those type of things. They had to find ways that are going to try to, keep the family together if it makes sense. I mean, there's that. But yeah, the church overall has not. Sorry, Liverpool.
Yes, we need some fish and chips in the house. Have you ever had Yorkshire pudding?
I have not. Is that a minnow?
No. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you, I got some food from somebody that lived in Liverpool, and it was one of the best meals I've ever had. Even though that I've heard like British food is some of the worst food that you can eat on planet Earth. There's a big joke about that. But no, it's like this hollow roll, and it's like really big, like a bread bowl. And then when you put a hole inside of it, you have like a prime rib roast that you put inside of the bread, and then you put brown gravy inside of it. Wow.
Keep talking.
But you haven't even heard what's for dessert. Big thing over there.
Okay.
Spotted dick.
And you lost me.
No. I'm kidding.
Nope.
I'm not kidding you. I used to work at a food bank feeding the hungry guys. And we got some British food in one time, and I got a can of spotted dick. And I took it and I ran up to my boss and I said, "Hey, I got that stuff that you said you like." And I threw it to him, and he got it. He looked at me like, "You're in big trouble." But it's like a rum cake with raisins or something in it.
Okay.
It's called spotted dick. We're talking about food here, guys.
We're talking about food, yeah. For the
I don't know why that just came up. Dan, thank you for being here. I heard. Tell us a little bit about what's going on over in the UK, because from what I hear, the UK's got it way worse than the States, guys. That's one of the states. I mean, the countries. I'm just going to tell you straight out, it is horrible over there. I think even Johnny's case in the beginning started off in the UK, and he lost, and then he had to come to the States to win.
Wow.
Yeah,
to America to win in our child support Title 4D arena. Wow.
Absolutely, man. Luigi said, "Hello, can I ask a question?" Yeah, brother, bring it back in there. That was the one that was asking about, like, how do I know if I'm ready to be a dad? Bring it. Tony's Coffee House said, "Rich people food." I guess.
Spotted dick.
I mean, I guess if you're poor, you could like spotted dick too.
Spotted dick for everybody.
Look it up. I promise I am not lying. I am not lying. All right. We are going to get back to some more of these voicemails.
We're going to get banned in about 2 seconds.
No, they can't. That's a food, man. That is a food. That is a food.
Delicacy.
Look it up. Don't fact check me on it. Yeah. I'm telling you. It's a cake with raisins, spotted. It's just, I mean, they call, what was it? What do they call cookies over there? Biscuits?
Biscuits.
They got different names for it. That's all it is. We're not talking about in America.
Yeah.
That's what you might end up with if you get one of these ladies that's taking the relationship outside anyway. Next voicemail, 762-441-0281.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. This is Ahmad from Kansas City, Missouri. I am 40 years old. Been divorced now for 7 years. I have 3 kids from the ex-wife. I am a retired Army veteran. The cost, when it comes down to dollars amount, probably costing me about $30-some thousand, rounding it up. There was moments in my life I was sleeping in my car, asking my brother to give me a hotel room once or twice a week just so I can shower and freshen up. And then there was so much false allegations on me and a restraining order, obviously knowing that no evidence is needed for a restraining order. I kind of moved out of state, and I had to see my kids under supervised visitations for 6 months. Proved to the court that what she was saying was all made up. Finally got joint legal custody. I get to see my kids now. Well, I have been for a while. My kids are teenagers now, and now the oldest son started to resent his mother and the husband she married, her husband. And out of nowhere, just last month, called me and said, "Take your son. I can't take it anymore." But she's still trying to control where I can go live with him, which is unique on its own. But I've come to a further conclusion, gentlemen. If you have a spouse that's scorned, the best thing is to move away from her area. And I think that's where my flaws is. I kind of stayed in the Midwest where she's at, and I think I got to leave and be as far as possible. Keep your heads up, gentlemen. Never falter to her allegations. You're going to have to fight the fight sometimes, and it's not easy. Peace.
And that's coming from a guy that went and fought the ultimate fight for us over there, man. That pisses me off more than anything, especially when I'm talking about these veterans and the politicians that sit there and talk about that every Memorial Day, every Veterans Day. And then you hear stories like this, $30,000 and living in his car. You know, I'm going to put a little bit of this on both sides. Let me start off with you guys. If you're a veteran, do not get married before you go into the military. Don't do it. I live near Fort Benning. We know when you guys take off because the clubs will be filled and they all know the bouncer at the front door. I hate to tell you that, but it is a very, very big thing. Why are you going to get married and then take off? I don't see much good that comes out of it. And
I think that World War II, thing where they get together and, let's get married before I go off to war and I'm going to come back and war here. No, that's not. We're living in a different time now.
At the same time, the military's got to know wanting to grow old, wanting to have a family, wanting to get married is something that everybody wants besides the MGTOW guys.
Yeah.
And they got a reason behind it, right? But there's a lot of these cases that are breaking up while these guys are overseas and having to come and fight. And now here you go again, $30,000, homeless, probably dealing with a lot of different emotions. Where is the resources for these guys? Why is it costing them so much money? Our guys that are going over there and sacrificing their lives. Why are so many of our guys committing suicide? The next time you try to do a salute on Memorial Day or Veterans Day and you don't mention these guys down here in the trenches, you can piss off. Because you don't care about veterans. It's just a way of getting money. It's a way of getting votes. And I'm telling you, man, you have taken our people for granted. You shit on the veterans every single day. And buddy, thank you for your service. I am so sorry that you had to go through this. No father should ever have to go through that. You made the ultimate sacrifice. At the same time, sounds like you said you got your kid now, but she's trying to tell him where he can live. Okay. You can't, I guess maybe what I could see is like, I gave you the kid, but you're going to try to move out of state to where I can't see him anymore. I don't know what the dynamics is there. But I am so sorry that you're going through that, man. Dwayne, take it from me.
You said it, eloquently, I might add, much better than I would have, because I would have used a lot of expletives on the,
I think I did.
Oh, yeah. They're the ones they're the reasons we're not speaking German or some other language right now forcefully. I mean, if you want to go on Rosetta Stone and learn a language, knock yourself out. They're the reason that America is free. They're the reason we have all this stuff. I mean, we've got some challenges, but they're the reason. And, we owe them everything. And for these politicians and all these people to pay lip service and photo ops and all this other, it pisses me off. I mean, when you get red pilled, you're going to see the world the way it's really meant, the way it really is. If you're thinking that these politicians, when they, salute or shake hands, you've had the blue pill and you need to wake up, because they don't care. It's a photo op for them. With the guy, again, thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
I have a spot in my heart for service members. men and women. You guys have done it. You guys have all made this ultimate sacrifice. For the guy, for his particular what he wrote. I'm not a big fan of moving out of state for a few reasons because that bond and everything. It sounds like she's wanting to control that narrative. As far as where he moves, I mean, he should be able to move a city or two away or something. With that, moving out of again, I don't know. Are we talking Rhode Island? I mean, okay, you are moving a city away if you go from Rhode Island somewhere else. But if it's Texas, a different story, or California or Alaska or whatever. But I mean, the kid has figured out that who the real issue is. With the alienating and the nonsense and the probably what's going on, the dynamics there and all that, and wants to come live with you. And thank God you're there and able to take care of him through your own perseverance. And that's Daz. That's what I mean. He lived in his car, probably ate out of a trash can a time or two, went down to the soup kitchen, whatever, because there was no resources available for him. Even as a vet, he had to do it on his own. That's what we're used to doing, lifting ourselves up by our bootstraps and getting it done. But I mean, as far as that, I would say, and others have mentioned in their stories, and I'm sure you're not, but don't belittle the mom. Try to encourage that relationship as you can. Be the better person. Your kids are obviously smart enough to see it, so that's going to work out well. Eric,
she did allow the kid to come over there. She didn't have to do that. Even I don't know what age. So there is somebody that's there, and if you can find out a way to get eye level, you may not always see eye to eye, but if you can find out a way to work that out with her, your kid is going to fare better because they do need. This could have been a situation. I don't know how old the kid is, but look at the fatherless statistics. A lot of these women are raising these boys, and without that masculinity, these boys, they can go in the opposite direction, right? And it might have been a challenge. And she said, "Dad, take over." And if she did that, thank you, Mom.
Yeah, hats off to her.
I got to give you that. At the same time, we have no idea the hell that this man has went through. I mean, we know we don't. But we've had several different people that has came in here since then and said they were vets as well. So to this man and to everybody that's here, thank you. It gave me an opportunity to use my button. But I do. I appreciate you guys so much.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like. A bunch of my friends, as soon as we got out of school, they went to Iraq. They all signed up in the military, and that was when 9/11 happened. And, oh, dude, I've seen some of them, some of the goofiest guys when we were in school, just really innocent, goofy guys come back and now completely gray-headed and drinking themselves to sleep.
Yeah.
I had one of them that told me, he said, "Eric, I felt more like a pallbearer than I did anything." He was like, that's what we saw. And I can only imagine you guys are having to carry that on your back. And then you got to carry this family law battle. And then they claim to care about our veterans. I'm just sick of them, man. I'm sick of them so much. There was one I was going to bring. Oh, Dan, I'm going to get to you. He said, family courts in UK are basically a kangaroo court based on profitability and not evidence. Basically encourages people to lie through their teeth, and the solicitors love conflict as it equals more money. I mean, that is, it's like the United States. It's like Australia. It's like most of these countries, guys. But I will tell you, I just know some of these countries, similar to Australia with those non-contact orders and stuff like that, they enforce it even worse. And you might say, how can it get even worse? It can get worse. Okay. And the UK is one of those guys have been getting their butts tore up over there. So all of your buddies over there, tell them to come on in here, man.
Yeah.
Tell them to come. I don't have any spotted dick to serve. I'll get some. I just had to bring it up one more time. And then Michael Watkins is always talking about these different foods and stuff. He said, Eric, if you ever go back to Rhode Island, get coffee milk. What in the hell is coffee milk? Yeah. Do you know what coffee milk is doing?
No.
Somebody's going to educate me.
Coffee milk. Yeah, we're going to Google that afterwards and figure out what them crazy Rhode Islanders are drinking up there. Coffee milk. I still have no problem.
Stop getting on my page.
Uh-oh.
They're posting all these different things about bobs and stuff, guys. Don't go after those bobs.
Yeah,
I think those are fake bobs.
Fake bobs. Although,
those are fake bobs. Mr. Dizzle, for shizzle, my nizzle. I had to do it. I know you probably heard that one, but dude, Snoop Dogg would love
Dizzle.
this. I'm gonna read it like Snoop Dogg. 150,000, 82. Parent says Guardian ad litem replaced. I was doing that pretty good. Judge changed by 4 different judges. Judge replaced. Social worker terminated. Parental capacity evaluator replaced. 67 reunification sections. 92 EMDR therapy coaching sessions. 115 mindset coaching sessions. Still haven't seen my kids in 1,026 days. Let me
How
ask.
is this for the best interest of the child? How?
It's-
Holy shit.
It's just the label that they like to throw on it. We know it is.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, $150,000 a house. 82 court appearances. And he's not a millionaire. He's got to show up to court 82 times, pay an attorney, the guardian ad litem replaced, judge changed by 4 different. What?
That is crazy, dude. I'm not laughing at you, Dizzle. For shizzle, I am not doing that, my nizzle. I promise. But we had another one of those come up. I got to get ready for it. Mandalorian. She said, I had a guy get me a can of spotted dick for Valentine's. I bet you did. I bet you did.
There's a shot at the clinic I think you have to get. Take care of that spud. I don't know.
Make sure it's full of the red pill. Mr. Levi getting back. He said, holy, you know what, man? That's why I try not to whine. Someone always has it worse. I'm sorry, man. You guys aren't whining.
No.
That's the thing, though. You're not whining. And what was it? That one caller that we had just a couple of nights ago, he was like, I'm depressed. Maybe I'm being a baby or I'm being this. He's like calling himself all these things because you guys are empathetic. That is what the other side doesn't have. You're empathetic. So you will try to even question everything because if it is me, I want to get better because I want to be out of this situation. And you'll end up carrying weight around that you don't have to carry.
Yeah.
Whether you could be one of the greatest guys, but if you go through this and you're getting alienated, you're listening to the gaslight and you're listening to all that crap, eventually it starts attaching it to yourself and you start thinking, am I that guy? Because it makes you question your whole reality. Don't accept that crap, man. Yeah. You're not whining.
You guys are whining. No.
Man.
Get in here.
You're perfectly made. Men are good.
Yeah.
Men are good. Dads are good. They're special.
There are times, you're right. We are special sometimes. But none of you guys are whining. None of the guys, none of y'all are whining. You're getting your story out. And when you said you've been beat down, I would bet anything you've been beat down, made to feel inferior. You're a piece of trash. You're not worth anything and all that. I'm gonna get a little real here for you. I'm a tech guy. I had a PowerPoint presentation made about myself. I did it. And on the top of it, it said, why I am not good enough. I will pull it up and you can see it. And it had pictures of me and what a worthless piece of garbage I was. I made it for myself. Don't do it. You guys are special. You're great. You're out there. You're doing it. You're killing it. You're suffering through unimaginable crap that's being tossed your way that you don't deserve. And you're still bringing it. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so, that's why we laugh a little bit in between. And I'm gonna pull it up, Amanda. She just keeps putting these comments. She knows I can't.
Mandalorian on fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Talking about her boyfriend that got her that. She said, "I never opened that can." Show of hands. Who believes that? I was just kidding. All right. In the 90s, it was like, because of Steve Austin, I'm going to open up a can of whoop ass. Oh, hell yeah. Could you imagine? I'm going to open up a can of spotted dick. Oh, hell yeah.
It was a can of Dinty-Moore.
Oh, hell yeah. Dad Talk 316 says, I just opened that can. Anyway, all right, let's get into this. We're going to get to another voicemail and then we'll come and roll with you guys in the comments for a while. 762-441-0281.
Hey, this is Thomas from Colorado. First of all, thank you guys for what you do. It's awesome. Giving us support, letting us know there's other dads out there that are struggling and sometimes I think us as guys we're macho, but we need that. My topic issue that I have a problem with is child support. I was going through a divorce. Started in 2015, didn't end until end of 2017, early 18. We were going through a divorce longer than we were married. When they got to the child support issue, they asked for, what I made a year, and I got told I was a liar. So I said, okay, let's do this. What do you want? And they said pay stubs. So I brought a year and a half of pay stubs in. And I live in a small rural town in Colorado. Cheap, food's cheap, everything's cheap, so labor's going to be cheap. You're not going to get paid what you're going to be getting paid in a big city. What they turned around and did is based my income off of the median state average, which is 20 grand more than what I'm actually making. So it's like they turn around and throw a number out and said, oh, there you go. That's what you're paying. I pay over $700 a month, and that's more than almost 3/4 of my paycheck. It makes no sense to me. I tried to get it modified, and they're like, that's what it is. Your ex-wife's not working, so there you go. So,
That's your fault.
anyways, have a great night. I just had to vent. Talk to you guys later.
Dude, I appreciate you calling in. Like there you go. Your ex-wife's not working. You can't lower that because she's not making money. She's sitting on her ass at home. So you're going to have to pay for it. What do you expect? You're such a bad daddy. You know what? If you care for your kid, you would work even more hours because she can't. You should feel ashamed of yourself for not getting out there and giving her all your money. The way they do this freaking system, Dwayne, blows my freaking mind, man.
Working as designed. It's welfare recovery. She's sitting on her dead ass on welfare.
We're not being sweet right now. Tell it.
She's sitting on her dead ass, ain't doing a thing, and she's been incentivized and encouraged to do that. Stunning and brave. Put them nails up. I mean, and then they look at him. Oh, you're a deadbeat. Yeah. You're a piece of garbage. Yeah, I know that you've got years worth of pay stubs that shows this is what you make. Nah, we're going to use the state minimum. Yeah, we're going to use the state minimum because welfare recovery. They've got to make sure they cover that amount and get their incentives. I mean, I feel for you, man. That's just the system that we've allowed to continue, that our legislators have promoted, and the narrative, because again, I mean, the judge is getting his retirement. He's making sure he gets that funded and the state gets their money. But the narrative, this judge has, seen cases and watches TV just like everybody else. Dads are deadbeats. That's the narrative. He thinks he's probably doing the right thing.
And they want to find one little thing that they can to use against you. They don't care how long ago it was. I'm telling you, we've dropped so many truth bombs in the past 3 weeks. If they ever tried to do a spotlight on what we talked about, it's going to be about you bottling farts last night. You talking about that, and me doing the spotted dick. Yeah, that's what they'll do. They're not going to listen to this.
No.
They try to cancel out dads in every single way. And that's why I say again, guys, we're going to get into that. We've got to challenge the narrative. It is a culture war. I sat there on the phone with somebody again last night that had sat there and saw me doing all those legislative efforts. And it was like, Eric, you need to get on there. You need to talk about, civil and doing this and federal and then doing this inside this system. And I'm like, guys, I'm tired of telling people to go inside of this broken system. That's a part of the problem. We've spent too much time trying to figure out how to play inside of a game that's rigged, right? I'm done with it. I am done with it. And the only way that we're going to make progress, even if you want to do, because legislation eventually is going to have to be changed. But the only way that you're going to make any progress in that is if you start challenging the narrative. Go get your shared parenting passed. But the second that he gets accused of an allegation or he doesn't get to see his kid, he's going to be the deadbeat still. Mm-hmm. It's not, the game doesn't change at all. They just change how it's played. They will find a way to make sure that system is operating and that's getting that money. I've heard several people, you need to do this and let's make it to where they can get incentives. So maybe they'll change it. No, they'll rig that. We are not going to take it anymore. We're not, dude. I do feel like there's an uprising. I hope this time, I've
hope.
said that many times, dude, but I do believe if we keep this going and doing what we're doing here, Dwayne, that I want to see it. You know, when I get on an airplane or I go to sleep at night, sometimes it's really hard because I get anxiety. And there's been times I'm looking out that window and I'm like, please don't let this plane go down. Not because I'm afraid of dying, because I'm saying it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah. I want to be around
I
long
was
enough.
here for a reason. I want to see that happen. And if that happens, we're all going to pass anyway. But I can die peacefully, right?
Yeah.
As long as I make sure my kids are taken care of and I've got to live that and I see this through, it'll be a life well lived.
Yeah. I would like to have like one last party on Dad Talk Today where we shut this thing down.
Oh, yes.
Because it's over, you know, equal shared parenting and all these problems and all this garbage that all these dads are going through has finally been fixed. I mean,
I'll bring the
there,
spotted dick.
and you'll bring this.
I'm gonna pull this up because somebody's gonna think I'm just being dirty.
Okay.
I want to say it's made by Heinz.
Maybe it's a new tag.
Uh-huh.
That could be a new tag.
I don't know that we want that tag.
Okay. It takes.
I've said it too much already.
Yeah, that's true.
I got it. I'm gonna bring it
Okay.
up to you. But anyway, guys, talk to us a little bit. We can end the show now. I mean, I wouldn't even mind coming back on with you a little bit later on, but we need to have some of those voicemails. You know, I still got some saved in here, but we want to make sure we save some for tomorrow. If
Good.
you want to talk about this, and then we got to talk about challenging the narrative anyway. 762-441-0281. It's not letting me pull it up. Just look it up online. Google it. Google spotted dick.
Don't do it at work because you never know what.
I know. I didn't suggest that. It
Yeah.
did. As soon as I did it, it pulled up the recipe.
Okay,
did.
there you go.
It did. I can actually do a screen share.
There we go.
Yeah, I can do a screen share. Let's see.
Cooking with Dad Talk Today.
That's it.
You'll
This
be
is-
the who are you? Juliet Childs right here.
Sponge pudding. It's a sponge pudding. That guy looks way too happy holding that spotted dick.
Oh, 9 ounces of spotted dick. All right.
Oh, dude.
Oh God, no. Okay, pull that
I
back
had
up.
to pull it down.
You saw what
Oh,
I
you
saw?
want it back? No.
Okay,
Okay.
pop it back.
Okay.
We won't say it on air, but pop it back up, please. Okay, about start.
You didn't talk about this one.
No. Oh no, much worse. On the right hand side,
Right hand.
start paging. Oh no, you're right there. Move your mouse just a little bit more to the right. Right there you go.
That's
Don't
my
say it out loud. Don't say it out loud.
They had to bring Bill into this.
Oh.
They had to bring Bill into this. Oh my God. And see, that's what I get. That's what I get. Sometimes I just need to stay away from some of these things.
That
If I said, is that Cosby? You know what? I'm trying to find out where to go back with this.
Yeah,
Okay, but like I said, you know, when the Johnny Depp case hit, it was so big. So many people were finally hearing the narrative being challenged. I said, you watch. As soon as this case is over, they are going to do everything they can to reverse it. The first thing that happened in the first week, they started talking about Cosby again.
Oh yeah. Cosby.
They started talking about Cosby, the Me Too culture. It started going on there. That's how the mainstream does this. And then after that, George Foreman, of all people, the champ, 30, 40 years ago, supposedly he grabbed somebody's tushy, 2 women, and they were suing him for millions of dollars 30, 40 years ago. You grab my butt. I need millions of dollars, Dwayne.
I was hurt.
Oh, yes.
Just tore my yeah.
This guy's in like his 80s.
Yeah.
I mean,
God. But that's the narrative. I mean, you know, I had a story pulled up, and it was talking, talking about not seeing the kids and all that. But all these stories are always weighted towards, you know, the women being hurt or abused. You don't really see, without really digging in, guys being hurt by the system. I mean, we're just supposed to take it.
yeah.
Or they'll bring up Cosby. Oh, what about Cosby? Yeah, what about Cosby? I mean, yeah. Did some bad stuff. It's wrong. He got punished. That's the way it should be. Okay. Next.
That one concerns me a little bit. Not taken up for Cosby by no means, but how many different people came out at the same time? It seems so freaking organized.
Orchestrated, yeah.
And if you go back to that point in time, Cosby was going around to colleges and having conversations that were very unpopular that people didn't like him talking about, with a lot of morality to it. You know, this guy. So I feel like there was a little bit of the cancel culture with Bill.
Oh,
if he did those things, God, you know what? He got what he deserved. But there is a part of me that does make me question, like, how much of this is truth versus how much is fiction.
right, yeah.
Right? All you got to do is make the allegation. We know how that goes. All you got to do is make the allegation. And there's another one that it made me look back at, like the Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson swears he never did anything.
To Givens?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I haven't looked into that one, but yeah, I mean, I remember hearing about, the Givens getting 21 Jump Street. I remember she was a sweetie on that show, but yeah, her and Tyson, really? Okay.
Dude, that's the problem with quoting stuff on the air, but getting into it, because I'll give you one to look at on YouTube. There was one where there was a reporter that was interviewing Tyson, and he brought that up. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, that would be dumb.
It was not pretty. Talking about one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. Did you guys see last year, or I think it was this year, where the guy on the airplane, the little kid, thought he was going to pick on Mike Tyson?
Yeah. Wow.
I've done a lot of stupid stuff in my life. A lot of stupid stuff. That's not going to be one of them.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not going to be one of them. By no means. And he got what he deserved.
I'm
sorry. He got absolutely what he desermed, man.
Oh,
I played Punch Out as a kid. I know what that punch does. You get hit by it one time, you're down.
Oh, yeah. You got these, 350-pound muscular guys that have been training their entire life, and you see the damage of Tyson's punch. You're like, oh.
Have you ever played Tyson on Punch Out?
Yeah. I haven't beat him yet. Actually, I have an arcade cabinet, and I want to beat Tyson, but I haven't yet. I'm not cool enough. 007-373-5469, I do believe is the code, or it might be 5963, but I know it by heart, dude. Wow.
And I used to whip his tail.
Really?
Yeah, everything on Punch Out, dude. Like when he's first going, he'll like do his eyebrows and stuff, but he blinks. He'll blink white really quick, and then that's when you take Little Mac and go over, and you got to do it just right, man. Those are some of the most challenging games out there.
Oh yeah.
Or then if you can make it all the way through those, because one time you're down, he starts going to the one where he'll wink at you, and when he winks, there goes a punch. That lets you know to go over.
Huh?
You get a little do.
That's the same
Punch
one.
Out. Best game ever made.
Really?
Dude, we got a lot of spammers in here today.
Well, you're getting somewhere.
Reach out to Mr. Engelbajawaza today for help on any problem you're facing. He has rebuilt my broken relationship for 2 years now, and I and my lover are back together again. All thanks to this great man, powerful spellcaster. I wonder if we can get him to cast the spells that we need in this community.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's all you got to do. You got to go to Dr. whatever she said.
Yabba dabba doo.
Yabba dabba doo.
That's
Get
all,
the
folks.
hell out of here. Get out of here. Stop it. Get off my page. They ain't going to fall for it because we'll read your comments. Scam
Put you on
artists.
blast.
That's it. Oh, Harrison. AB, left, right.
Oh, we got some
left,
gamers.
Right, up, down, up, down.
You
Is that not the
screenshot
contra
that.
code?
Yeah,
You don't remember the contra code? I thought you were a
Contra?
gamer, Dwayne. I am very disappointed right now.
I mean, I have actually. I've got on one of my Raspberry Pis. I have an arcade, stand-up arcade machine, and it's got like 20 some odd thousand games on it. But yeah, I've got all the old Nintendo, MAME, stand-up, all that fun stuff on it. And Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, all that stuff, and Tron. I mean, all those games. Love playing them.
Look, guys, we love talking about family court and like getting this out there. But one day I want to do an episode about video games. I am that dork.
Oh, yeah.
I am. I don't play them much because I'm on here with you guys. I haven't even been on them in like a month. But like the regular Nintendo. Oh my God, dude. And the video game that changed my life is the one that all the parents said you weren't supposed to touch was Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal
I had the
Kombat.
Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
I remember the console wars. You either had the Sega Genesis or you
Yeah.
had the Super Nintendo.
Right.
And you had to have the blood code. And I'm about to
The
give it to
blood
you.
code.
It was called Dullard. Down, up, left, A, right, down. I still remember it for the Sega Genesis. You're welcome. And that's how you got the blood on Mortal Kombat. But dude, video games, like my daughter, I wanted to spend some time with her the other night, and I was like, you can go anywhere you want. Just tell me where we're going. Arcade. And I was like, oh God. I was like, that's $50 for 10 minutes. There was that magic about the arcades, right? But dude, do you know how much it is to play a video game in an arcade now that doesn't look as good as what you see on the PS4 or PS5?
They have arcade. Well, down here in Texas, went to one I think a week or two ago, and I got a great guy, or good story from that. But it's like $10-$12, and you can be in there unlimited. Toasty. I
that
love
would
that.
be a good one to start popping up on the screen.
I have that on one of my videos that I made
Really?
when Gina Kalani smokes as family law attorney during the open session. I have been going Toasty. Oh, it's great, and that's actually the guy that designed the game. Great thing there. But you remember that? Here's one. So when we were kids, when we would go to the arcade, because that's where my generation, when we got to go, that was kind of where we hung out. We'd go to arcades. And do you ever like meet somebody? And you would sit there and you would play games together. You had that shared whatever.
Oh yeah,
and
man!
then-
Instantly.
Yeah, and you were buds, and then you walked away, and that was it. It was just that one time meeting. You hung out, you had the collective whatever, and then that was it. And it was
That
cool.
was sad though. That was sad though, because those are people that could have been like blood brothers, dude. And you connect instantly, and we got this in common, right? Nowadays, hey, add me on my Insta, or whatever. But back then, it was just like, dude, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, well, but I don't know. It was, I guess, a little. When I went there, I was kicking some ass on Tron and some other stuff. But foosball is my game.
I like air
love
hockey.
foosball.
Air hockey.
Me and this guy, never met him. We popped up, hey, and we're sitting there and we're going at it and having fun. And it was great. We played for maybe 15 minutes because I'm old. I realize all the pain I got in my body now. We finished up and shook hands and walked away. And I was telling my wife on the way home, this was the awesomest thing. Oh, my wife just popped up there. Another story I got to tell you. Sorry, Dr. Mario. This woman, I mean, she's a complete dork. She can't play video games her life. She owns Dr. Mario. We have Christmas Dr. Mario parties, and on Nintendo and other station, but on Nintendo specifically, this woman is like, I don't know, Rain Man on Dr. Mario. She kicks my ass. I mean, I game. This woman kicks my ass on Dr. Mario. It's embarrassing. And she's like the best. I'll hands down, the best. I'm not even being paid to say it. The best.
I probably should not admit this on the screen, but there was a game that was on Nintendo that was very similar to Dr. Mario that I had the chance to purchase when I was a kid, but I wasn't old enough because I guess nobody was renting it in the store. And I later found out, I'll tell you, the game is called Bubble Bath Babes. It was kind of like a cartoony Playboy for NES. Okay. And the girl farts out colored bubbles. And it does like Dr. Mario. I kid you not. You guys can look it up. A Bubble Bath Babe. All right. And so she farts out these colored bubbles, and you have to match them up like Dr. Mario. And if you can match them all up and beat it, kind of like Tetris or Dr. Mario, you got this 8-bit picture of a lady in the back. And I had the opportunity to buy it as a kid, and I was very interested in matching those fart bubbles. You know what that game's worth now?
I can only imagine.
Oh, I think like $20,000 or $30,000.
Wow. Yeah, the gaming. My oldest son will sell used game consoles, things like that, side hustle, trying to keep things going. Wow. Well, Mrs. Ward, I'm going to find Bubble Bath Babes.
Bubble Bath Babes.
I'm going to try to see if I can use that. I mean, it's kind of my content, girls and farts. So I might be able to.
You might even be able to see some 8-bit Bobs.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. On the Atari 2600, there are questionable games on there.
Oh yeah. There's one about General Custer on there.
Yeah. Okay, I played that one. I have it. Yeah. There's some weird.
I know what those little dots coming down the screen were. Oh, guys, we are showing our dorks right now. I mean, our dorkiness is just coming out. I wonder how many other guys are going to know that game. I wouldn't think there would be many guys that knew that Atari game.
I mean, Atari 2600. I mean, it's back 1982. I was 10 years old when it came out. So yeah, it's one of those. But you can still find some ROMs of it and things like that. But it's an interesting game.
And there's somebody right now thinking that we're promoting that. No, we're not.
No.
No, we're not. We're just talking about some of the silly stuff when we was a kid. We all did, you know. I mean, could you imagine if we were teenage boys growing up in this generation, Dwayne? I had JCPenney magazines to learn the facts of life. I really did. I did. I mean, it's just a much different generation now. I think that is very dangerous for our kids because it would be so easy. And you don't make no mistake, it's not just the boys getting wrapped up into it. The girls are too. I'm hearing from more and more girls that are getting wrapped up into this, and you need to be very careful of what your kids are accessing on the internet.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I had to turn this back around and get responsible because that's who we are. We are responsible parents. We just like to be dorks too.
We like to be dorks. Oh, I mean, I don't know if you have somebody shenanigans. Oh, we got more.
She said Sears catalog. So, and that's a woman. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for
thank you for saving
helping us. Yeah, the Sears catalog was a magical time of year.
Dude, when we was up in Washington State shooting for the miniseries, there was this guy that had just inherited this stuff from the guy, a guy that he knew that had passed away that was in World War II, and he had all this stuff, and this guy is trying to get rid of it. But he wanted to show us this collection that this man had. And one of them, it was like a mint condition Sears Roebuck catalog from like 1909, and they got like curio cabinets and these like the what do you call them? Like the big desks that had like the secret doors, like you would see in libraries and stuff like that, for like $30. And like it was just looking at some of the prices, like why the hell you could buy a house out from this Sears Roebuck catalog.
Yeah, even with inflation, I mean, you could. Yeah, stuff has gotten more expensive just due to inflation and all that free money and all that going around. But yeah, it's neat. Yeah, people ought to just crack open that. Well, it might trigger some people, but crack open that Sears catalog and take a look in there.
Dude. I mean, random memory just popped up. You guys got to go to Instagram, and I promise you will not regret this. I don't know if you ever saw it, but you know, at one point, right before Kmart went out, Sears bought Kmart.
Yeah.
And one of their last ditch efforts was to get this campaign going out. And it starts off when this guy holding a pair of jeans and he's like, I can ship my pants. And the Kmart guy's like, you can ship your pants. And then it shows his wife over there. He's like, hey, I can ship my pants. She was like, yeah, you can ship your pants. He's like, Billy, did you know you can ship your pants? And the little kid pops up and he's like, Dad, I just shipped my pants right now. I will not ruin the rest of it for you, but I have no idea how that did not single-handedly save Kmart. It was the greatest commercial I've ever seen.
That's great.
Have you ever seen that?
I have not. I need to Google
Look up
that.
Kmart shipped my pants. Like shipping.
Shipped.
Shipped my pants.
Commercial. There, it's
and it's at this point, guys, that we're gonna call it for the day.
4.5 million views.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
That's awesome.
My favorite part was little Billy. I just shipped my pants, Dad. And then there's this black granddad on there. He's like, I just shipped my bed. It's great. Amanda saying she remembers it. Dude, greatest thing. Anyway, but guys, we will be back. I'll probably do a replay later on tonight, unless you guys get some voicemails. We might get a little hair up our tushy and say we'll come back in. 762-441-0281. We got the good stuff out of the way, and you just got to have some fun with us today. I hope this started off your Monday right, and no matter what you are going through today, man, you can make it through this, guys.
And you never know what you're going to learn. You just never know.
No, you don't.
I didn't know about spotted dick when I walked in. This is educational.
I promise you, if you are having a bad day right now, you're one of these dads that are having these challenges, go look up the Kmart commercial.
Yes.
It is going to change your day. It's going to change your day. Maybe not for the whole day. It's not going to get it completely off your mind, But for that little brief second, you're going to find some humor. And if you don't find humor in that, I don't know that I trust you.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have any humor. You'll love it. All right, guys, we'll see you a little bit later on. Dwayne, let's do it again tomorrow, brother.
Will do. I'm here. Show up, share, like, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys.